They say opportunity doesn't knock twice. A chance where life gives you a moment to ask yourself, is this what I want? And if not, what are you going to do about it? In 2019, life was normal. There was a familiar grind that we all endured living in the real world. But you finally wake up after hitting the snooze 4 or 5 times, race out the door with a hot cup of joe and an apple shoved into your mouth, to either be stuck in traffic or running late to an early bus arrival. All to get to a colorless, lifeless community where you will hear slurs being held at you like, hey, how's your weekend? Or, Monday, am I right? But this lifeless, colorless fades away as Friday continues to taunt you. The weekend. A brief but necessary moment where you can let your hair down. Go pile in the car with the girlies to get drinks and sweat the night away. Book opening night tickets to a summer blockbuster, or simply pass a J on the Sunday night where you watch the season finale before going back to bed and doing it all over again. News was on his last leg of being a legitimate source of truth. Politicians persisting on continually fucking this shit up. The rise and fall of celebrity culture fills in the gap between caged kids and border control. And who knew the makeup community can be a cutthroat industry?
Like sucking dick and cock.
You're stuck in the consistent mind-numbing routine that somehow we can't get out of. But that all changes in March of 2020. A deadly virus cloaked the world and killed what we knew life to be. A virus that made us stock up on toilet paper and put us all on house arrest. We weren't allowed to burn the midnight oil or pass the J around. For entertainment, we watch gays with tigers and Koreans who are insanely good under pressure. But one thing that virus couldn't stop was the, hey, how's your weekend? That just evolved. A new world was forming whether we liked it or not. It was changing quickly and becoming unpredictable. For some of us, we hear the tires come to a slow stop and we see opportunity approaching our front doorsteps. But this time, do we answer? Do you take opportunity's invite? Knowing from here on out, if you invite opportunity in, there's no turning back. So if I take this opportunity, then what? Well, that answer looks different for all. But maybe a collaboration between one of the greatest artists of all time and a company that speaks to our inner child can help. This collaboration brought a new life to an old classic tale. But like all true artists, there's always a hidden story, an answer that can help those who are ready to embark on a quest to find their inner crown. In a time where it seems like you can roll the dice and try again, and change your character. A time to forgive the past and look towards the future. And in a time where DEI was a new beginning. Beyonce guided us to a hidden yellow brick road for those who are willing to say, yes, opportunity, you can come in. Welcome, my name is Cayman, and this is My Beyonce Experience. In 2016, Beyonce was quenching all of our thirst with an ice-cold glass of lemonade. Lemonade was a layered recipe. At first sip, you will experience the journey Beyonce went through to forgive Jay-Z for his infidelity. But once you start slurping that straw, you will realize it's a recipe for the community on how to forgive the love that hurt us and learn from past mistakes to improve our future. But while Beyonce was giving us album after album and taking us to homecoming, a deadly world-stopping sickness was lingering around the corner. COVID-19 was no longer a lab accident that the mean old Chinese fucked up. It's a disease that has serious implications, and we're told to go home. We are working from home for the next 2 weeks, my boss said. I haven't set foot in that office since. COVID-19 was a disease that tore reality in half. For the first time, people couldn't even imagine a possible outcome. The government shut down all activities and cut people from their most basic need, social gathering. And replacing the need for social gathering was a dancing app that quickly became the source of real-life news. Short-term videos displacing the underbelly of real America. What legacy news hides. Deaths that get swept under the rug, racial tensions brewing at dinner tables, and of course, a political system that benefits from all our despair. This all came to a boiling point when a regular man was being pinned down by his local cops. Cops who swore to protect you, but you find yourself pleading for a chance to breathe. All of our pain, our hurt, and our mental instability about our livelihood came head to head like two rams. But before the munchkins were going to claw each other's eyes out, came a floating bubble drifting off the southern wind, floating closer and closer to the crowd with a gift that can at least give us 90 minutes of fun, storytelling, and a cheetah-printed Rolls Royce. Out from the bubble was a collaboration between the Queen herself and a billion-dollar business that thrives on the inner kid in all of us. Beyonce and Disney's partnership made sense. Beyonce did say she wanted to think about her future and others. Disney was planning on rolling out a triple threat with their beloved story, The Lion King. First, the classic 1994 movie got a live-action remake. Beyonce lends her sultry, smooth voice not only to play the fierce rebel Nala, but Beyonce also sung the lead song in the motion picture Spirit. Speaking of music, it isn't Beyonce without an album and a visual pic, and Disney is very aware of that. Beyonce, with the backing and full creative support from Disney, created an album, The Gift, and a feature film supporting the album, Black is King. The two stories follows a young lost boy who is casted out of his family. Lost in a world filled with temptation, he learns to go within himself to find the key to become the man he needs to be. But while following the young boy becoming a man, there's another message running parallel. There's a spiritual message that was calling for all of us who are willing to listen. Woven into the storytelling were depictions of African spiritual practices, gods, and goddesses. It was used as a character that guides the boy to his journey of becoming his true self. Through the Gift's lyrics and throughout Black is King, Beyonce asked the community to look upon other gods. Gods that were meant for us. Gods that connect us back to our ancestors. Gods that can protect us and guide us. And while we're at it, let's reconnect back to the African diaspora, why don't ya? Black is King showed how rich and regal African culture can be. Their textures, their beauty, and their history. Their strength and their elegance. A culture in which Blackness is celebrated, connected by community and connected by greatness. Beyonce collaborated with many African artists who come from different backgrounds. The album highlighted different African sounds, instruments, artists, and even dialects, furthering the theme of connecting and community. Black is King made a cultural impact. It portrayed how strong and vast the African diaspora can be that isn't portrayed in mainstream media, showcasing its beauty, traditions, and community, highlighting its heritage and culture through breathtaking cinematography. The Gift went #2 on Billboard 200 charts, and the beautiful brown-skinned girl won a Grammy for Best Music Video, giving Beyonce another win, but also giving Blue her first Grammy. When you're thrust into a world that is changing, you have two options: to stay or to grow. The Gift and Black is King gave a beautiful story of what happens when you decide to grow, when you know there's more out there than chasing buses and talking about Mondays. For those who are willing to go within themselves, to find that spiritual guide, and to break out free. And to always remember you're part of something much bigger. All right, this is the part where I start talking about my thoughts and my opinions and performances, and there's really nothing to talk about. I mean, 2020 really, there was no performances. Beyonce was not shaking ass. She was not coming to the Super Bowls. She was not singing. She was not sweating. What we now know what she was doing was making this new era of herself with this 3-act run she's doing. But at that time, the only thing she gave us was Black and King, and that was pretty much it. And I mean, we all know that the world stopped. There was no entertainment. Like I said, we were watching gays with tigers and Koreans trying to win millions of dollars. Beyonce was not performing. Let's just talk about my thoughts on this album in general. First of all, I love doing this series because there's a trend now that people are ranking Beyonce's albums, and now going through this, people always shit on Black is King and people always shit on Homecoming, which makes sense to me. I don't really see Homecoming being a Beyonce album, and I will say I understood why people shit on Black is King, or not Black is King, The Gift. If I say Black is King from here on out, just know I mean The Gift, unless I actually mean Black is King. I'll try to, whatever. But The Gift. Where was it going?
Wow.
I don't know. But it's just interesting that people is shitting on The Gift. In the very beginning, I couldn't understand why. Because when you pick up The Gift, it doesn't feel like a Beyonce album because there's so much voiceover and interludes from the Black is King, the movie, woven into the album. So it really truly does feel like a project that's an attachment of The Lion King itself. But The Gift Deluxe is organized in a way where you listen to all the Afrobeat African songs first, and then you listen to the Disney woven stuff later. Now that I know that, and now that I have listened to Black is King Deluxe, the gold one, or The Gift Deluxe, the gold one, The Gift is at least, if not top 5, one of my favorite Beyonce albums. It's in the top half, for sure. I love this Afrobeat vibe of Beyonce. I love that it was Afrobeats and it was before its time. Now in 2025, we're getting a resurgence. I don't even know if we're getting a resurgence, but we're getting Afrobeats with the rise of Tyla and Wizkid and Tim's, and also with Afro House. It's a new genre that's popping out in the EDM world. I don't know if it's new, but it's a genre that's coming to the surface right now, called Afro House. So Afro beats in this very moment in time is in. So it is a nice album to listen to during this time. I can understand why people didn't like it in the very beginning, but now I think this album fits. So I do think The Gift Deluxe was just way before its time. And now I really appreciate it. So yeah, like I said, The Gift to me is at least, if not top 5, I'm going to say right now top 5 because I already know the rest of Beyonce's album. If it's not top 5, it's at least within the top half. Also, one thing I wanted to share with this, because, Lion King was all about a kid who needed to grow up, and I don't want to say he needed to be a man, but he needed to take what was his. And I think with the album in Black is King, the visual, it really has this message of going within yourself to find who you really truly should be. And I think in 2020, I definitely for sure went on that journey. It's interesting because right in 2019 and a lot of times in 2020 when we were able to at least socialize, me and my friends, we will talk about, I remember talking to my friends all the time being like, man, we should have did a YouTube channel. God, if we would have continued making vines like we did in college, where would we be now? Man, if I would have just done a podcast in 2017, look where I've been now. It's interesting knowing that was the Cayman in 2020, and fast forward 5 years later, I'm doing everything that I wish I would have done. And that's scary, but it's just fucking weird. Like, I always quote this quote from Steve Jobs: you can never connect the dots looking forward, you can always connect the dots looking backwards. And looking back to 2020 and doing this Beyonce series, having a YouTube channel, trying podcasts, even just trying it and liking it and posting it and continuing to complete something is something I never thought that I would ever be doing in my life. And that's just interesting because I definitely had a spiritual awakening during 2020. And I definitely, after 2020 and 2021, started therapy. So it definitely got me thinking, like, what's more out there? What else should I be doing? And what else can I be doing? And now it's interesting because at this point in my life, I'm thinking about the next transition. Because right now I'm making these YouTube videos about Beyonce and her albums. We're on Black is King. We only have 2 left. Act 3 won't come out until after her tour. So damn sure it's not coming out until, if anything, next year. So what am I going to do from here until Act 3? And I have plans, I have ideas, but it's just so nerve-wracking. It's so scary because it is pushing yourself to another level that you didn't even think you were going to do. Things that I'm thinking about doing now were things that I didn't even think that I could even achieve or fucking do. And I love the analogy that I have with the Wizard of Oz. I am Dorothy, and we're all Dorothy, and we're all trying to get back home. I think right now where I'm at in my Wizard of Oz Yellow Brick Road journey is I've gotten the Scarecrow. I got my mind right. I figured out what was going on with my mind and getting that set. I got my heart. I got my passion aligned with my mind. I even fucking already know that I already know the wizard isn't real. You know what I mean? And I truly honestly know that on my twinkle twinkle toes, I can just go home any minute that I want to. But in order for me to go home, I need to get some courage. And I think my courage has, I laugh because it's as I can, my mind is like, this is going to sound so gay. This is going to sound so stupid, but I think my courage that I need is on the other side of this chapter that I'm scared to embark on. So I'm interested to see your guys' reaction, because if you follow my videos from here on out, I promise you, if I get some courage, there will be a huge shift in the type of content that I'm making, but all within the Kurious brand. But I don't know. I'm digressing. I'm rambling. I'm trying to eat up time. But the point is, it's interesting going back, doing this video on the year of 2020, reflecting on who I was today, and just being scared, but also surprised and also proud that I've come this far, that everything that I've talked about of making content, putting stuff out there, not being afraid, being myself is flourishing. And it's just scary because I see myself continuing to flourish, but in ways that I never thought I would get to. So, yeah. You know, I always have a question that I want to give Beyonce. The only question I have for Beyonce is, girl, how was your pandemic? Did you fire the maids? Did you fire the chef? I know there's an interview that you said you don't cook. Okay, girl, you don't cook. Now, I know you got a big ass house, so your chef can stay 6 feet away. You can make sure she's out the kitchen and everyone comes in the kitchen. But how did you handle the pandemic? How was it making music? You know, also for someone who's an artist, I think people, we thrive off of community and we thrive off of people. When people are in pain and they're hurt and there's uncertainty in the world, I think it would affect how an artist will feel. So my question to Beyonce is, how was your pandemic? How were you handling the uncertainty? Were you in the pandemic just buckled down and you were like, listen, God, I know we're going to come out of this, and while we come out of this, why not just make Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3? Because I know that you said when you released Renaissance that's coming up that you actually had plans to release Cowboy Carter, and you thought that at the end of the pandemic people needed to dance, so that's why you shifted to Renaissance. But when in this pandemic did you tell yourself that actually I want to make Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3? Was it in this pandemic? Was it not? How did you feel about, Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor and George Floyd? What did you think about January 6th and people storming the Capitol? Because you did come down from your Glinda bubble and give us a message to stay focused and keep our eyes on the prize. But girl, before you floated away, like, tell us more. Like, how do you feel about this stuff? Like, this is real life. Like, did you have thoughts of quitting and giving up? Did you have thoughts of retiring? Did you have thoughts of calling some bitches out? Like, were you depressed? Was your anxiety high? Like, what did you tell your kids? What did you think of Donald Trump? Did you like Donald Trump? Did you like the options that we had, either Donald Trump or Joe Biden? Who did you vote for? Did you have suicidal thoughts, B? Did you think you were going to survive this? Did you look at Jay and be like, why did I forgive you? You know, a lot of people got divorced, but a lot of people's marriages got stronger. Where were you? Were you looking at Jay like, bitch, I should have left her ass a long time ago? Were you looking at Julius and be like, hey, hey, I can keep you in the house, honey. I can keep you in this house, honey. But yeah, that's all I want to know. All right, guys, that is my video. Thank you for watching. If you like this, please, please, please give it a thumbs up, give it a comment, like it, subscribe. And if you don't like it, that's completely fine. That's okay. I'm making these videos for myself and not for you. And as always, peace in the motherfucking Middle East. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.